Hello, ladies and gentlemen. For those who have watched It and It Part Chapter 2, I I have to say that it's not one of my favorite movies at all, and especially that I grew up watching the original It. I don't know if it was a movie or TV show, whatever it was. Uh, it comes out on on the internet as TV show, but I saw the movie, the one that was on, I guess, on DVD. But I wonder if you guys say it's a movie or it's a TV show, but whatever. I watched it, and it was very silly. It had it was silly when I watched the first It, just It itself, just the movie It was very silly, and I kind of said, I'm not going to watch no It. Or at first I was like, I'm not going to watch no It. It's a silly movie, but the more that I heard people saying, "Oh, it's a good movie. It is scary. It this, it that." And then I was like, "Okay, okay. If you guys are saying that it's a good movie, then good. I'm going to definitely watch that movie because it's good. You guys are recommending it." So I was like, "Yes, I'm watching it." So I watched it. The first one was, I guess, okay. The remake one, the one that in chapter one, it wasn't it wasn't that impressive either, but it was eh, something that I could just say eh. And when I watched it chapter two, I was like, this thing's gonna be better. And when I watched it, it it was pretty scary at first, and there was some funny stuff to it. There was comedy in it, but when it got to the end, when it got to the very end of destroying it, the clown, I was like, what? I was pretty I was pretty impressed towards all the way to the end, but I mean almost to the end. I was impressed until it came with its silliness of well, it just came with its silliness when it came to it. It came to the silliness of that the clown became a spider or like some kind of monster, and it just went all wrong and silly. It just got really silly, and I was like, this is like one of the silliest endings to a movie. It wasn't even like it's like it's like you watch the movie from the beginning and you're like, wow, this movie's different than the original It. Then it just became all incredible, and then when you get to the end, it's like, what? You giving me this dumb ending? And I'm saying it just because I've seen other movies like Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen all kinds of movies. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not watching this movie if you're gonna say that. I'm not watching it. It's boring. Because I like I'm saying, it's not boring. It's that it gets silly. But like I'm saying, I've watched movies in the past like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. It's just movies that are like normal movies of like slasher movies or like Chainsaw Massacre. That was okay. That was pretty good. I'm not going to say it was incredible. Then they had Leatherface. Then they had all kinds of movies, and there was remakes that were not that great. But I have to say that for me, the movies were pretty good. The reason that they were good was because they were slasher movies. They didn't have to have all these special effects to make you see like, oh, I'm gonna have bugs in my eyes, or I'm gonna have roaches coming out of my mouth, or having flies, or I'm turning into a moth. It's like The Haunting in Connecticut. That one was. I don't like those movies that instead of being scary, they just try to they try to gross you out with all kinds of, we're gonna make him turn into a monster and turn into like a roach or make him be possessed by like demons and turn him into some other some other boogeyman or some weird stuff. But I like movies that are just like simple, simple. You expect it. You expect something like that. Just something that's simple, but at the same time scary, because you could put yourself in those shoes and say, look, I could be in the woods, and I could be chased by this killer killer man, or I could be in a I could be in a party, and we don't know who could take over the sorority, playing a prank, or is it scary, or what's happening. And that's what I like about these movies, that there's originality. They're simple but original and scary. Not like these other movies that they they make. I don't understand how these movies become all silly. Like, there's a lot of movies that are silly, like the movie Teeth. Like, the woman's genitals become all like monster. Her genitals become all monster, and she starts attacking. I'm like, I want to have sex, and then when she has sex, she's like, ooh, 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 and when she's about to spread her juices out, or her liquids, she turns into this monster and goes, and her genitals just start munching or destroying the guy's private parts, and it's like silly. It, instead of being like what you'd expect, like a slasher movie, like maybe maybe Freddy, like Jason, like Friday the 13th is good. Nightmare on Elm Street is good. What else is there? There's movies like what other movies are there? There's like Halloween, that's good. There's a bunch of movies that are really good, and they don't have to have all kinds of special effects, or all kinds of magical, or CGI, or whatever they do to enhance the movie. So what I'm trying to say is that it chapter 2 was pretty good from the beginning. Towards the ending is where it got all boom. It went in the wrong direction and just was like, I don't want it. I don't want it. Wash my hands and just say, I don't want that scene. Get it off. And the funny part was that in chapter 2, there was like, I love this story, but I don't love your ending, sir. You should rewrite your ending because it was boring. And by that, I didn't really understand until I got to the end of the movie. I'm like, rewrite this it story because it's boring. I thought in my mind, like, oh, it chapter 2 ending is boring, because it's like the most boring scene ever. Like, the last 20 minutes of the movie, or I don't know if it's like 15, 20 minutes, is like so boring, so dull, so unimaginative. It's like the original it. It was so good beginning to its middle, but the ending was like so, like, it was worse than what this movie was, because the first one was like gross and just like really weird and really like demonic. Like, I don't get it. It's not good. It's so weird and like dumb. So I enjoyed the first part of the movie. It was cool. It was funny. It was kind of not scary to say, but more of like jump scares that they try to put. But it was funny. To be honest, it was very funny. But like I said, the ending should have been rewritten, or they should have hired somebody else to make this movie or something, because this was just dumb. So if you guys haven't watched this movie, or if you guys are watching this movie, please keep in mind that this movie is just going to be dumb. The ending is going to just make you feel like dumb. Like it's like the It original movie that had that weird bathtub or whatever. Like weird. I mean, the first one was the very first one. The original one was very silly, very silly. But this one became a little bit more realistic, but still, I mean, more serious, not realistic. A little bit more serious of a movie, but it was still. I don't want to watch it. I mean, this one was serious, but I wouldn't watch this movie again. These movies, they don't get a replay. Just that's just my opinion. It's not incredible, but there's other movies out there that could probably, like, if you're really talking about genre movies, it's dumb. I mean, if you're talking about horror movies, this is dumb. I'd rather watch, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, what else? Halloween, Freddy, Freddy versus Jason. It's just like those movies are incredible. But this, no. So that's my thoughts on this movie. This movie wasn't incredible. It wasn't great. It was okay. I don't know what you guys want to hear from me, but I didn't enjoy it just because of the last dumb moments when they're in the cave. It's like so dumb. So that's my thoughts on the movie. I would say it's not incredible, but if you want to watch it, go ahead. You may be disappointed from the ending, but that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll catch you guys in another video.